right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Because you always use that active when defenders have been given, like. Because you always use that active when defenders have been given, like. Because you always use that active when defenders have been given, like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Come on, Ian. Big up, Ian. Right. Shout out to you lot tuned in. People deluded. I'm back again. Now, I can't lie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Of course, good night. I hope you're doing well and safe. I hope you're having a progressive week. I hope, this week is filled with, first and foremost, health for your loved ones. And as usual, where your goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, aspirations, all of that good stuff is concerned, wishing you lot the best. Can't lie. I've had a terrible morning, people, but I'm still alive. I'm still sexy. I still got the DG Nation. It is what it is. Internet weren't working. StreamYard wouldn't let me sign in. YouTube wouldn't let me sign in. Twitch wouldn't let me sign in. It's all crazy, people. I was on the verge of having a nervous breakdown. I was like, what the fuck's happened? Have they spliffed my channels and stuff? But we got there in the end, man. You can't defeat me, man. You can just temporarily stop the thing. As I said, I hope you're doing well and safe. Shameless plug, people. But after this, 4:15, only on Twitch, just because I feel we haven't done it for a while. England's under 21s are playing Italy. We might as well watch Balogun and that, or Balagos, as some of you say in the comments every now and again. So yeah, appreciative to you lot. Smash the like button. Any comments, talking points, engagement, and all of them things, you lot make the platform. I think yesterday was a very enjoyable live stream for myself. So any talking points or any emerging news that you see, feel no sort of way of commenting. Shout the Twitch one, smash the like button, make sure you're subscribing and all of those sort of things, man. And make sure you've got your thingies on, man. We're locked in early. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Man said, DG, what time was that for the under 21s? 4:15. So 15 minutes before kickoff, 4:15 UK time. Obviously, whoever's abroad, use your common sense in it. Morning, right back at you, broski. I'm all for adding quality, and the guy looks decent. From what I've seen at Frankfurt, he looks decent. I don't know if he takes us to another level. I don't know if we go up the gears, but I'm here for it. Big up the YouTube members. Have you read the David Dean book yet? DG spills the beans well more than Wenger. Nah, I ain't read it. I haven't read it really. I'm still on. Let me get my book for you. I'm reading a couple right now. I'm reading a couple still. Let me get my book. Since we're doing that book club, I've just to be honest, I'm behind with this. I'm kind of violating. Excuse my bookmarker my page holder as well, people. Again, it's a humble piece of tissue, but man's reading the Gucci Mane thing at 50 cent right now. And then after that, I'm actually it's under me, but Wenger's book, and actually a book that I really want to read, but it's a thick one. Pause, definitely. So yeah, man, that's my reading. But when we're done with all of that and I go back to the library, I'm guessing, these are not from the library, but when I go back to the library, I'll do that. I might just listen to the ebook or something, really and truly. It is what it is. Man said too expensive, the Kroenkes are a problem. Then to be fair to you, just because you got money doesn't mean you need to spend money in it, really. Sometimes it does got, sometimes you run the risk of missing out. This Mudruk brother looks like he's got hella talent, Cam. He looks like he's got potential. I do think everyone's becoming a Ukrainian expert and a Ukrainian football expert and Shakhtar expert. He's got a lot to work on, but the raw minerals are there. But, I'm not being funny. Again, if you wait 12 months, 18 months, he might go somewhere and lay it up. But over 50 million for a guy that's been doing it for 2 minutes. I'm not saying don't spend it. I'm just saying I understand if he is too expensive, really. Certain fans would have, by that logic, I'm not saying you, but certain fans wanted to spend 70 odd million on Isaac. Now, shout out to him. He's going to do well at Newcastle. But still, read Rick Ross's book. It's a game changer. I ain't reading Officer Ricky's book, but I take your word for it, man. DG, you're gonna come to America sometimes and get some of that artery clogging food. Why not, man? You know, you don't need to get the subscribers up, man. You know, we need to earn a bit more. Good morning, DG. Would like us to sign Lim Strong. I watched him a couple of times in the Europa League last season, including the final. Looks a good player and would provide competition. And he's a similarities, but different to Mudruk. Guys like him, he might be cheaper. If they're saying 17, 18 million, we're going to get into it in a sec, people, all the rumors and all them things. But if they're saying 17, 18, Pedro Neto is 50 plus, and they think Limstrong has potential to help us, and, you know, they're going to spend less here to maybe get a midfielder or two. I hear it, really and truly. I hear it. But I would say that is the frustrating thing when we've been there for a couple of players. It's you need to put the bread down. You know, I can't blame Shakhtar. They're going to sell to the highest bidders, isn't it? And then wait till the next Ukrainian golden child that they've got in their academy and do the same thing. You know, Shakhtar have shown it. They'll sell their Ukrainian dons for peas. I don't know so much about now, but when you look at Willian, Fred, Fernandinho, a lot of, you know, as you know, a lot of emerging talents from South America, if they're not really going Portugal and places like that, a lot of them do or did go Shakhtar. Willian, if I didn't say that, learn their tricks and trades of the game, the first sort of entry point into Europe, and then they go to one of the top 5 leagues. So I hear it, really. And to be honest, as Arsenal fans, we've got to do a bit of that as well. Let's be real. You know, we've got to be self-financing from our academy. And obviously, I want these players to stay together. But if Martinelli, Saliba, all these guys that have potential, there might come a time where there's money you can't really turn down. And as much as you don't want to sell the player or consider it, selling them can maybe reinvest in other things, really. You know, that's just the nature of the game, as you lot know. Bro, artery clogging food. I've been to America a couple of times. It's mad. And I love sugar in it, which is quite bad. I need to cut that out of my diet still. But yeah, man, America's lit for them things. I'm not really a big fan of your tipping culture, you know. But yeah, that's one thing I learned, man. People looking at, you know, that's where I'd say English and Brits are completely different. Obviously, Brits and Americans are very different in that. I've been thinking, DG, in this team, where do we play a deeper centre mid Xhaka and a slightly higher Cam Martin/Vieira? Where does Smith Rowe actually fit as a wide playmaker? Bro, Smith Rowe can play as an 8 long term. He can play as a 10. He can play off the flanks. You know, again, obviously, if everybody's fit, then you've got conundrums. But everybody can fit in there, really. You know, and again, if you buy another centre mid, it might be peak for Xhaka or even Partey. We need competition. Really, make yourself undroppable. Make yourself that guy. You know, obviously City, they're quite volatile. They rotate a lot of players, but a lot of players are fixated. Obviously, it's easy to say Ederson for obvious reasons. You know, there's normally a player that's in purple patches. You can't drop Haaland right now. You can't really drop Kevin De Bruyne, or he has to play a lot of parts. Anytime Bernardo Silva's on the bench and things are going iffy, he has to play. So make yourself undroppable. You know, again, I do think Granit Xhaka, Ramsdale, and Saka are quite lucky in that. I would say there's no significant competition for their places, but they've kind of earned it. They're vital to the team. Xhaka's probably the first name on the team sheet, really. So competition, man. But yeah, really, you know, it's a problem for the manager. And all I could say is, you know, you play 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, might have to switch it up and play different formations, but we need this, man. Big up Graham, man. I knew there's a reason I like you, man. You're Scottish. Big up you, man. Scott seemed to. I like how, well, definitely where the UK is concerned. I just find myself more comfortable speaking to people from up north. It's just like they speak with their chest and they wear their heart on their sleeve. And, you know, Tierney lands well with me. I heard Tierney did a madness, really. DG, being a Scot, watched the game against Ukraine last night. Tierney played very well. He seems to play better when Robertson doesn't play. He was getting forward and putting in some good crosses. You know, hopefully there's no injuries. He's got a bit more fitness. And now I don't know if Scotland have another game. I'd assume they do. Hopefully there's no problems there. He gets a bit of sharpness and we're good to go against Spurs, really. And you're hearing Zinchenko could be back. The more players back, the better, really and truly. I'd agree we need to get a Partey replacement. If he gets injured twice more this season, the board has to be looking to bring a replacement. As a Ghanaian myself, it kills, but he's an Achilles heel. I hear it, shout the Ghanaians. And, you know, you do hope Partey could stay fit because obviously he's got the World Cup to think about. And at 29, you could make the next one. But, you know, the way Ghana's going, good players are coming through. Like Nigeria was doing, I like what Ghana's on, you know, and a couple of other countries, they're convincing the British-based descendants to go and play for them. There might be a next midfielder, but, you know, I like Thomas Partey. Obviously, he needs to deal with what needs to be dealt with off the field, and if things happen, then he needs to go. But, you know, when you look at Thomas Partey, I wouldn't quite say it's a flop, but it's an underwhelming signing. When the man's fit baller, but, you know, reliability isn't quite there. You know, it respectfully, you know, it's a case of when and not if he stays fit. You know, he's only played 8 games. He's only been available for 8 games in a row since he signed here. And I do think, you know, you kind of need to not move on from Partey, but you need to mitigate against it, whether that's bringing in Douglas Luiz or whoever, really. You know, and that goes for Tierney, Tomiyasu to a slight degree as well with their injury issues, really. You know, they've been robbed. Senegal represents semi-finals incoming. I'm hearing Eddie could potentially come Ghana as well. I'd be too gas. I mean, why isn't he there? You know, you got a World Cup right there, Eddie, you know, right there for you. You know, I'm not going to lie. I do find it a bit weird, you know, like when I look at players like Inaki Williams and not just Ghanaian players, but there's a lot of players that were trying to play for the Englands, the Spains, this, that, and the other. They weren't really part of the World Cup qualifying, and then they see it's lit, they want to come over. Now, obviously, good players help the team, but I always find it a bit weird. And as an international manager, I find myself saying, do you put your pride to the side and say, you know what, these players can help us? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going with players that wanted to play here first and whatnot? You know, Eddie, big up yourself for what you did getting Alan Shearer's record for the 21s, but I personally think that's as good as it gets. I think like Iwobi, you go and play for Nigeria, the media leave you alone, bro. Like the media, like people leave Iwobi alone, sort of thing. And I think that could be a benefit. You could just do your thing. Like Lamptey's probably gonna just get left alone as well, really. So yeah, man, shout out to you lot. But yeah, man. And to be honest, we need to be looking for the long-term Partey replacement anyway. Same with Granit Xhaka. You know, Xhaka, I'm sure, has another year extension in his contract and he's playing well. But do the maths. He's 29. He's contracted until 2024. I personally think when you look at, obviously, Ozil got rubbed out and we needed creativity. Aubameyang's attitude changed it. But the one thing with me and Arsenal is like we only fix these things when it becomes apparent. Like we're only like Xhaka would probably have to decline massively before we try and go for that 8. I hope that's not the case, but I think historically that's been an issue. And as I always say, as much as Xhaka likes Arsenal, good relations with the fans now, doing his thing on and off the field, he didn't grow up in North London. It's a job, you know. He's from Switzerland, you know. He wanted to go live in Italy. He might want to go back to Germany and all of these sort of things, really. At 29, you've only got one career in it, so who knows? Shout out the Twitch ones. Star of the football hate international breaks. To be fair, there is football still, but I hear you. It's not quite Premier League and top 5 European leagues. I'm with you, DG, but listen, as smaller nations, we need all the quality we'll take. Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. You know, it is what it is. You know, you have to. You know, look at Zaha. Respectfully, listen, I can never say man, I'm not proud to play for the motherland and that. But if your career was going the way it was, you know, you was trying to do up the England thing. It didn't bang. You went back to, you know, you went back to Fingy. You went back to, you know, Ivory Coast. And to be honest, how much did that help him stay away from nonsense? Not even nonsense, but the media and all of these sort of things. I think the media kills a lot of players, you know. Actually, when we're struggling for content, you know, have you seen Jack Grealish? I think, is giving some great interviews, really. You know, he's drawing out Souness and he's talking about things, really. And it's true, you know, long story short, it's a good read. He said something like, well, I'm not going to listen to Souness. Like, Pep's the best manager in the world, and he's telling me to take man on. This man's telling me I'm this and that. Not that everyone can't have opinion, but who are you going to listen to, really and truly? So, yeah, it kind of is what it is regarding that, man. Shout out to you lot, man. Shout out to you lot. Shout out American Gooner for gifting out 5 Twitch community subs as well, man. Me type in Arsenal on Google as well, man. There must be some. Lie to me, man. Tell me Lionel Messi and Neymar are coming to the Emirates in Jan. Lie to me. Tell me something, Google. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Come on, man. Lie to me. Well, I don't want to hear about William and that. I don't care about that. Fair enough. Let's make sure we got Twitter loaded. Come on, my dude. Hi, man. I'm a Juventus fan, but I've always liked Arsenal. Hope you win the league this year. I hope so too, man. It's looking peak for Juventus, though, isn't it? It's looking mad peak for Juventus at this humble moment in time, really getting smacked by Monza. I don't think you're any close to sacking Allegri, but unless he turns it around as soon as possible, boy, it's long for him. And the writing's on the wall. And to be honest with you, it's a bit bad, man. In fact, I feel it is bad, man. But I hope that Allegri goes. And that obviously means Conte cold feet. Hopefully Conte says, you know what, thanks for the memory, Spurs. Not that there's any safe. I'm gone. And then Spurs get someone rubbed, man. They might as well give Peter Crouch the job or something, man. Yeah, man, it's all peak, bro. It's all peak. Do you know what? Allegri's going through the Wenger thing, and maybe Sir Alex Ferguson saw that it was a new game and he quit while he was ahead. But you're playing Weston McKennie right wing in a 4-4-2. It's dead, bro. It's dead. It's dead. For me, Allegri's thing looks too outdated. The way he's trying to play is too outdated. Juventus need to pattern up, and it's long without him, innit? Who would you bring in as Xhaka / Partey replacements? Because like you've said, they're both aging. Look at the current state of affairs. I'm not too sure, man. I think Douglas Luiz could be a good option. The midfielders I want, we couldn't get. The Vitayas, the Fabian Ruizes, these curtain raisers. I beyond that, if you get some with potential, I don't know. Sangare of PSV, I'm not really checking as much as I was at Toulouse, but when he was at Toulouse, he was lit. There's probably some other names as well. But I kind of want, where centre mid, specifically what Xhaka does, I kind of want someone that's, and like I would take Telemans, but I don't, and I think he can improve and do his thing, but I kind of want someone, obviously it's not instant, but I kind of want someone that's going to raise the profile of our midfield immediately, a bit like Gabriel Jesus. Immediately that striker position has been upgraded, I think, unless, obviously, if you bring people in that are good, we can bring them in, but I kind of don't want people who are not going to be that, because I just feel we need to pattern that midfield. How much for Mudruk? They're saying over 50 mil, so it's a madness. Well, go on, Killy. If African teams were able to retain their players from these European nations, they would be amazing. It's true, man, but there's a lot of things going against it. You know, when you look at them, you know, anywhere in the Caribbean, probably even South America, Africa, bro, it's crabs in a barrel. Corruption in first world and the first world, third and first world, but it's different over them sides. You've got corruption, you know, you've got a lot of games to be played, and and it's happening now, but until a lot of these, especially the ones in Britain, until they look at playing for either their heritage or England on the same level, I don't know really, because a lot of them look like they're on this England team first. They can be, it don't bang, then they go elsewhere, really and truly. I also feel Arsenal took the W for buying Jesus instead of Vlahovic. I mean, it all worked out all right in the end. You know, who knows? Vlahovic might have signed for us and been a madman, but it is what it is, man. I'm happy with that Gabriel Jesus and how it worked out. But to be fair with you, you know, Vlahovic is a different profile to what we have. So if you ever want to sell him, and Locatelli, if rumors are true, bring that, man. I don't buy the Locatelli things. If De Jong is still available come summer, I say we're going for him. What a signing that would be. I mean, throw your hat into the ring, but without Champions League football and that, he ain't listening to none of that, man. You know, out of all the Prem teams, City and them, man, are going to be able to get him. Chelsea, based on their intentions with Todd Burhi. United came close to signing him. Obviously, they got Ten Hag. It could be a Dutch link up there. Hopefully, Van der Beek warns him against that. But yeah, I would love De Jong, but it's a dream selling, man. That's a FIFA Football Manager one, really. We ain't got bread for that. But could you find De Jong when he's still at Ajax? Could you find De Jong when I'm sure he was at William in Holland? You know, can you find them before they become them dons there? I don't know. Smash the like button, people. Appreciative to you lot tuned in. Elite talking points and all those things as usual. I can't lie, you lot violating though. There's, you know, only 49 likes. You lot are boying me, but it's cool. It's cool to stay up to date with DJ, and when he goes live, follow him on Twitter. Amen, man. Amen. DG out here doing the bare minimum, but to absolute perfection. Appreciate that, my guy. Georgian, appreciate you. Like, obviously, I don't really go on my YouTube comments, you know, because when you get too much praise or too much criticism, I like to keep level-headed. I like to just keep working, but every now and again, obviously, I like to reply to you lot, you know, because I like the fact that obviously you support my content, you comment, you do these things, and you left a number of kind words, man, as you always do. George, I appreciate that, man. It's not just lip service. Subscribe with Amazon Prime for free to support the channel if you are on Twitch. De Jong came out saying he thought he'd go to Arsenal before Barcelona Bergkamp thing. Bro, he needs to, listen, do it in reverse, man. Do it in reverse. Yeah, you could win trophies with Pep Guardiola, but can you really do it when Partey's injured? Can you do it next to Lokonga? That's a real challenge for me. We need 2 or 3 signings in January transfer window that can play in midfield, right wing. Locatelli is dream chasing. De Jong is also dream chasing. DG, you seen the Twitch civil war? What's going on there? What happened there? Twitch. What's going on there? I need to stay up to date with that. You're gonna have to update me, man. You know, I'm just in my own world, really. Like, just so I don't really take these things in. I see this. The latest I saw about Twitch is a bit like what I'm seeing now, is that they're kind of clamping down on gambling. But beyond that, bro, I don't know, man. You'd have to update me on that, man. So yeah, man. Couple more minutes and we'll look at the headlines and talking points and things, man. The benefit really is you lot, man. Like, I just like talking with you lot. I would take Danilo over Douglas Luiz in midfield, Zaha over Mudruk at right wing. Where Danilo and Douglas Luiz, I'm taking both because obviously, you know, and this is where I think it might have been unfair if we in this youngster thing, players of tomorrow, scope to grow. People are going to make mistakes. People are going to show more consistency in other aspects. But when you look at it, Palmeiras fans are saying he's having a poor season. He's a very volatile young player. You can't really expect a man to go from Brazil to play in the top 5 league. I'm not saying you are, Clement, by the way, but you can't really expect him to just slot in at Arsenal and do his thing. Even if he came and it was instant success, he's bossing it. It's not going to be like that to the end of the season. Now, obviously, the Brazil calendar is different, but January is a difficult time. He's going to have to get up to speed with a lot of things, and you'd have to kind of sign up for him making mistakes. But if Danilo, can be that sort of player that they say he can, left-footed as well, Portuguese speaker, Brazilian, resale value, I'm here for it. But I would, Douglas Luiz as well would be Douglas, then that's Danilo, but I'd be on for bringing in Douglas Luiz as well. I think Douglas Luiz can be a decent squad player, can deputize instead of Partey. You know, if you get some more other lit midfielders in and he develops, great. But if not, he could be our somewhat El Nene. I don't like the Premier League proven thing, but Premier League proven. He's not the oldest as well. So yeah, man. Big up Telwood Studio as well. YouTube members, appreciate that. It will be as living proof that doing this internationals thing for your bloodline nation over waiting for that England call up that might not even happen is a no-brainer. And it's not even that. You might be one and done. Ivan Toney, I hope it's not the case, but you could play for Jamaica or St. Vincent. Now, if you want to play for England, do your thing, and I don't think you should be one and done. I think I'll go without talking about other things, but if I'm looking at the striking options, if I'm Southgate, Raheem Sterling's a winger, but I'm bringing him. He can play up there. Grealish is a midfielder, but he can play as a false 9 if I want to do that. But out and out strikers, Harry Kane, you know, our former Arsenal Academy graduate Harry Kane. He plays for the Spurs now, but Harry Kane's going. Tammy Abraham should go. Ivan Toney gives you something different, especially if it goes down to penalties, isn't it? He gives you something different. But, you know, I don't know, even with Ivan Toney, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin was still slapping them in and doing what he was doing the season before last, would you get a call up? Maybe, and rightly so, but maybe not. I don't even know. Mainly, Twitch decided to ban gambling streams, so a lot of content creators are in the mud, and the ones who are against the gambling streams are loving it now and rubbing it in the gambler's face. That's crazy. I know a lot of Twitchers do the like poker and that. I mean, obviously kids are, you know, the internet, you can get away with stuff and say you're an age or not, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. Tammy Abraham, Toney, yeah, I prefer Tammy Abraham, but I'm just saying, like, as a squad, Kane gives you something. I think Tammy Abraham deserves to go, and Ivan Toney gives you something different as well, and I think he's got the mentality as well, so is what it is. Secondly, behind the scenes, there's been some drama going on. I don't know 100% on this, but a Twitch streamer alleged SA another Twitch streamer while she slept. Oh, fuck. And people have been picking sides and everyone's making content. Oh, fuck that, man. Anyone that does them mad things, yeah, man, I think I speak for any decent human being. We don't condone that. That shouldn't be going on. If you do that, you should get your head kicked in slyly, man. Should be under the jail, really. What are you doing, man? How are they clamping down on gambling and not girls skinning out for little? I don't know, man. The ethics in this world is crazy. What about Ndidi? Don't hear his name much, but not long left on his contract and think he could be a logical buy. I mean, he'd be all right. I'm not really convinced on him. I think he's got the bozo G. Not that we, you know, it is what it is. The money they want, again, if his contract's running down, but I'm not really on the Ndidi hype, bro. I would love to be proven wrong. I've never been convinced. He's a decent player, but I've never been convinced of this hype thing, really. You know, it should have been a Basuma one, if anything. I don't think Ndidi's good enough in the, you know, with progressing with a football. I think he's got too much mistakes. I think he's very volatile. I don't think Ndidi's it, man. You know, obviously icy free tax and that. I think he's meaty. Like, I think Ndidi is meaty. I can't lie. I just don't rate him. It don't matter what I think, because end of the day, I'm just sitting here on YouTube with you lot. You know, he's playing Premier League football, but I don't rate Wilfred Ndidi as well. 25 years of it, I just don't think you're lit. Like, yeah, you're Premier League proven and that, but I just don't rate him. I can't lie to you. Yeah, I just don't rate him, man. Big him up though, because I think he's got a uni degree. I respect it. Like, shout out to him, but I just think he's shit, man. Like, not shit, but shit. Like, nah, man. Just don't think he's the guy, bro. I don't think he's the guy, man. If we're gonna bring in a 6, I kind of want confirmation. That's why I'd rather Douglas Luiz, because I kind of know what I'm getting from you. And he, you know, even with Douglas Luiz, I think people play down his ability on the ball. He's not no midfield maestro or Perlo and that, but he can progress with a football. If you remember the game last season, whatever game, I'm sure Lacazette missed a penalty against Aston Villa. I might be lying and I might be getting 2 games mixed up, but I'm sure Lacazette missed a penalty. Douglas Luiz in the first half was playing as the 6. And we spoke about this problem going into the game. They put him further forward, and he played a part in, I think, what led indirectly to Ramsey scoring. I'm sure that Ramsey scored against us at the Emirates. I might be lying to you lot, but I'm sure, people. Apologies if I am. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for extra live streams and videos. Subscribe to me on YouTube. 4:15. We're watching England versus Italy's under 21s. Apparently, that's on YouTube as well, people. So yeah, man, make sure you're all there as well, and it should be a decent one, as the content always is with you lot, people. Appreciative of all of you lot support. Again, talking points, etc. Get them in, folks. Let's go on Sky Sports, because it's been quite. I think news is, obviously we all know what happened in the world last week, but it seems that we're getting back to normal. You know, again, just some other news, people. Apparently, Mark Noble's returned to West Ham as a sporting director. Obviously, he's worked in football, but it's quite crazy. You know, you could be a footballer one day and you're already a sporting director. Obviously, he's Mr. West Ham. They had to find a role for him, but still, apparently, Rudiger said, "I would wind players up if the stadiums were too quiet." I love it. I love seeing people rattled, man. DG going Arsenal, Tottenham. Nah, because how are we going to do a stream? And we need all the engagement levels we can get this month. I can't lie to you, man. Now that you mentioned that Jacob Ramsey, I would 100% bring him to the carpet. See, Ramsey, lit. Bring him. Kamara is starting ahead of Douglas Luiz. Isn't that a bit of a worry? Not really, because Kamara's doing his thing. But, you know, Douglas Luiz, I guess he was on the bench because of, you know, I don't know if his mindset's in the right place. Obviously, there was rumours about transfers and that. To be honest, Arsenal missed a trick when they didn't go for Guimaraes. It is what it is. You're 100% right, but we just got to charge that to the game. There's no going back in time unless you got 70+ million or something ridiculous for Newcastle. Can forget about it. Bruno Guimaraes should be here. You know, he's got everything. Brazilian. I think the mentality's lit. Clearly still stung a bit that Arsenal shagged him as well. Always kind of indirects us. You know, likes to tackle, likes to put a shift in. He would have been the guy, but is what it is. We just need to find the next one, innit? That's my biggest problem. Like, I can take not signing players. You know, like, obviously, when we go through the summer, you lot all know the one I really wanted was Rafinha for obvious reasons. But then when you looked at the reports, it said, you know what, Chelsea's his second option. He's got his heart set on Barca. That's cool. But my biggest problem, and I can deal with that. If you're not Real Madrid and these sort of things, even them, they got Sheikh for Haaland and Mbappe. I can accept not getting players. What I can't accept is the we tried thing. Because, yeah, you tried, but you can bid for Rafinha, Neto as much as you want. What did we bring in? Same with midfield, man. So it's a results-driven business. Twitch is full of degenerates. I never really effed with this platform until the mandem came over. Outside a few, stay safe out here, Twitch gang. To be fair, the only thing I really like about Twitch is the copyright laws are a bit more relaxed. Like, you can watch YouTube videos and things like that. Don't know for Love Island, they temporarily suspended my account for doing a Love Island watch along. I don't know what was going on there. We definitely should have gone for Bruno Guimaraes, but it's done. We're just gonna have to hold it now, really. Edu's just going to have to scout the net. Can you find Bruno Guimaraes before he ends up at Lyon? Because we was linked with him before he went with Lyon. We was linked with him when Guendouzi was here, and we said, "Oh, we'll give you some money and swap Guendouzi for you." You weren't hearing it. I wouldn't mind Ruben Neves, but again, it looked like he was priced out of a move to Man United, Arsenal, and Barca. I mean, I'm having him, Portuguese speaker, been Porto captain as an 18-year-old, been at Wolves in the Premier League. Yeah, man, I can't lie. I prefer Ruben Neves over Telemans. I won't lie to you, lot. I like both of them. You know, if you can, you know, in an ideal way, if you could bring in Ruben Neves and either Danilo, Douglas Luiz, or Telemans, or something like that, or some other midfielders, it's cool, because I think we need 3 midfielders, a 2 8s and a 6 for me. You know, 2 8s, 2 new 8s, a 6. Xhaka can stay until he wants to call it a day and keep doing what you're doing and be used in the squad. You've got Partey. Lokonga, again, if that happens and you're not really sharing levels and a team could offer you 20, 30 league games, you might have to hold a loan. El Nene can stay for another year and be a spare part, you know, just utilized if need be, or if he moves on, fair enough. And obviously, you've got Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Smith Rowe that could all be groomed and deployed as number 8s, but they'd all have to change. And for me personally, the one out of them names that Zinchenko as well. I think Martin Odegaard, he can do your 10 thing, but I think we need to groom him into being able to play as an 8. I genuinely feel he's got that in his locker. I think you should be controlling the tempo of the game. Obviously, pardon me, he has a good relationship with Saka and Jesus. He leads the press along with Jesus as well. But I really think you could be an 8, man. I really think there's many gears that Odegaard can go up beyond the obvious, really. I really do believe that, really. Like, again, I don't think he's anything like Santi, but he could do that Santi sort of stuff in the middle of the park for me. But even that, Santi weren't the biggest, but he was on, slugging about, putting in a shift, man. What's going on with Saliba after the World Cup? Bare teams want him. They want him already, man. Teams always want good players, man. If we stay top of the league till Jan, it'll be way easier to attract players for the window. I mean, the league's volatile, as long as Arteta can convince Edu can dot I's and cross T's and we can convince players of a project, then it shouldn't really matter. But you're right. If we're doing that, then yeah, it is. You're right. Neves has that dog in him that we need. Amen. The man, they are hungry, man. Hungry. That's why I like Martinelli. He's hungry, man. I need a hungry Wolves at this team. Ironically, we're talking about Wolves. Don't forget to stay up to date with DJ when he goes live. Follow him on Twitter. Make sure you're following on Apple Music and Spotify as well. I typically put my streams just for you lot on MP3s. What's this Apple News? Interest rates rise to things just getting harder and harder. The interest rates. The Bank of England just raised them. Bank of England. Fucking hell, bro. I ain't got, you're already trying to fleece us off our pennies. Bank of England. See, we're in a day and age of hyperinflation now, It's the highest since 08. What happened in 08, 07, people? Inflation rising, living costs rising, wages stagnating / dropping. It definitely sounds like a good time, innit? Definitely sounds like a good time. There's going to unfortunately be a lot of poor Christmases, really. The evil of this, bro. Very funny how banks can just keep, printing money with quantitative easing and keep raising interest rates. And naturally, that's going to filter through to a lot of things, man. Like, again, if you go through your local shops, I'm pretty sure you're seeing things are getting slightly more expensive. More money, more problems. Well, it's the money there, man. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in capitalism. I don't necessarily believe in socialism. I believe in the middle. I think, it's very easy to decide. I don't think the rule of life should always be the rich paying for things, but you get it. I don't think that every answer should be taxing the rich, even though I'm not that. I don't think, I think it's easy to be a socialist when, not that you're at the bottom of society, but you're not doing that. Likewise, I don't think, a country should, the few, like the 1% should benefit, because without the other 99%, the economy don't go. If I own a massive trucking company, and I've got bare warehouses, if dons are not working in the warehouses, if there's not call centers, if there's not logistics, then I'm not doing anything really. Bro, Air Forces are ridiculous. Reselling culture. I respect the hustle, but it got crazy. I remember like a year ago, I tried to buy white Air Forces in Foot Locker and they said it sold out. Like, what are you talking about? My 27 years, that's the first time I've ever heard that. I remember that would never have been a thing so many years ago, but is what it is. Martin should be looking at David Silva and Luka Modric as guides in controlling games. Yeah, amen. Should be able to get Mudruk for 42 million. Hear that? Get it done then. But I don't know if Arsenal are going to splash 42 million in January on Mudruk for all his talent without bringing in a midfielder. Now, obviously, Elneny might be back in January. Partey might stay fit. Xhaka, all these other midfield options, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, all these guys might provide a different sort of logic, really. I think, for me personally, we needed a midfielder anyways. But when you saw when everybody was fit in pre-season / the start of this season, we was going for a winger when we should have been going for both. Obviously, the dynamics have shifted really and truly. So I don't know if we're going to spend 42 million without addressing midfield, really. Maybe the winger thing gets left for the summer. I don't know. You just need to grab multiple forces, bro. Where's the P's? Paying for all the resellers. Nah, man, I can't. In this day and age, bro, people just making money, man. If there's an opportunity, I don't blame resellers. It's the, if nobody bought it from the resellers, it'd all be calm, really. It's trying to make a dollar, man. I listen, we might need Mudruk. For me, we just need a right